Hey everybody, good morning. It is Squirrely MC here with finally the tutorial of the triple piston row extender. As you can see, I've been working on it, trying to get it down a little bit. First iteration over there, second one is right around here, had this weird thing coming across it. Reworked it, goes a little bit faster, and as you can see, I've extended it out to have 4 pistons, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it can keep going too, pretty much forever. Some people have noted that they think, oh, it's just 3. No, well, I know it's a triple extender, but that refers to the 3 pistons coming out. But now it's got 4 pistons in a horizontal row, and it's a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, and works pretty well. So first thing I want to explain is the logic behind it. Obviously, you're starting out with 3 pistons in a line. The thing is, you're going to need to have control of 1, 2, 3, 4, and even 5 spaces in order for it to be able to extend and then retract. So in the first position that you're going to have it in, the 1, 3rd, and 5th row all need to be powered in order to extend it out 3 spaces from where it started. Remember, it would start right about here and then go 1, 2, 3. And then the next step when you're retracting it is you turn off the 5th. That tells this thing to yank that thing in, and there you go, you still have your 1st and 3rd on. And if you turn off your 3rd yanks in that piston, brings this back in. You still want your 1 on because that's holding that thing up and make sure it stays out. Then you want to turn your 4 back on. That tells it to go back out and get the block, brings it back in. Then you want your 1 to turn off. That brings it back in that piston. Then you want to turn on that one, which is the 2nd row. 2nd row turns that on. That brings back in that piston when you turn it off. And then you want to fire the 3rd one last time to go out and get the block and bring it back, and there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can see, that's kind of a complex amount of steps that has to occur. So let's get to it. In terms of building it, it's a little tough to recreate from memory, obviously, but you get used to it after a while. So in order to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to show it and explain what actually happens. So this is your 5th row control, as you can see. All it is you have to be able to control it from underneath, and this is how I came up with that. Pretty much you just bring down redstone wire to repeaters, which are powering the block, and then that turns this on and off. And if you've been watching the redstone basics, you know that only powers the block directly above it, and so that's turning these off, i.e. inverting them. So when this turns on, these turn off, this turns on, powering that block, which powers the piston once it gets out here. For the 4th, you're doing kind of the exact same thing, except you do it 1 block higher, so that they're offset and they don't crosstalk or anything. You just bring your redstone wire to repeaters, set into the wall with the torches on, and then these ones off, and that powers the piston directly once it gets there. It just puts power directly into it. For the 3rd one, you have a little bit of a tricky thing. You have to come up and over, as you can see. And in this case, you're going to be powering this block. Won't interfere with that at all, because remember, this doesn't help crosstalk with that at all. This is just wired from the back of it. Redstone repeaters putting directly into the 3rd row of blocks. This is 5, 4, 3. And that's going to power this, which then powers the block above it. It really had to start raining right now, of course. Let's see. Oh, come on. Okay, sorry about that. The rain's gone now. I completely forgot the command for that for some reason. Anyway, you bring in the redstone behind it. That powers that. And then for the 2nd one, because you have all this stuff underneath it, you need to go above. So for the 2nd one, as you can see, this is the 1st block, 2nd block, 3rd block, which is coming from over here, 4th block from underneath, 5th block from underneath. The 2nd one, you come from above. All it is just redstone wire coming straight across, 3 out, and then just leave it here for now. Same thing with these, just leave them along here, and we'll explain the rest of this later. And then for the last row, all you want is you're going to want to put a block behind the 1st row, and then set repeaters into there and bring redstone wire out and down to the baseline. And this is the 1st one. So for the 1st one, all you want to do is bring it back, put it along this row right here, have 2 separate lines going into one, and I'll show the reason for that in a second, but you put on the straight line a repeater set to 4 ticks, which is full, 4 ticks, which is full, and then just 1 click down repeater, 1 tick repeater, and then another 1 tick repeater over here. Wire them all up so they're in a big old rectangle. Bring the wire back to the button, and the idea obviously is that, as you can see, the signal just keeps extending, as you saw over there. You needed one to be out for a while and then just turn off at the end. And that's the logic behind that. The other easy 2 to wire up real quick are the 5th. All you're doing is just bringing it out, putting a repeater pretty much anywhere because the signal isn't long enough. Obviously, there's more than 16 blocks here, so you need to put a repeater in order to make sure that the power just gets down to there. Because remember, the fifth one only fires one time, and that's in the very, very beginning. So you want it to be very minimally delayed, and you already have a delay down there. So same thing with the fourth one. That one just has to come on a little bit later after it gets retracted once. So all you're doing now is repeater and then wire, wire, wire. Repeater set to 4 full ticks, and then just bring it down. Remember, when you bring it out from here, you want to scoot it over one, because what you're going to use over here is an inverted switch back and forth. So you want to make sure there's no crosstalk coming from that. So you want at least a block of clearance through here. Just bring it over and then right down into there, and that's your fourth wire right there. For your second and your third. Now remember, this is your second, which is coming from above. So for that one, you're going to want to put a few repeaters in a pattern. Obviously, you bring the wire out and you go 1 repeater full ticks, 2 repeater full ticks, 3 repeater full ticks, 4 repeater full ticks, and then your last 2 are a little bit different, as you can see. Your last 2, to make it a little bit faster, you put 1 with 1 tick, that's powering that block, and then another one with only 3 ticks. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 with full tick, 1 with 3 tick, and 1 with 1 tick. And then you're also going to want to put right next to that, right here, so you avoid some crosstalk, is 1 with just 1 tick, 1 regular repeater. And you'll see why that's needed in a second for starters. So when you send out a signal here, signal comes through, goes up through here, comes up, stops right there in terms of going back up that way, but it still turns this off, which turns this on, which allows the third row to fire. Now on the way back, you need the third row to fire after the second row fires. So as you can see, you're just delaying the time for the second one to get there. As soon as it gets up here, it goes straight on to fire on the second ones, but it also comes around here, wraps around, goes to this repeater, goes to this wire, turns that off, and then sets off the third one. Meanwhile, it can also still keep going, but there's a unidirectional repeater right here that stops it. So as you can see, for this part of it, you just want to have, for the third row, you want a redstone torch on the side, wire here, doesn't get crosstalk from that because you put a repeater there. You want another repeater set to 1 tick, wire, wire, to another torch that is being inverted by that, and that's what turns this on and off, and you can power that from different ways, obviously, as well. And as you can see, if you hit the button, it does exactly what I'm talking about. You have 1, 3, and 5 all firing, then 4 firing, then 2, and then 3 firing, and then there you go. It all works in harmony, and hopefully that helped explain it a little bit. It's tough to rebuild completely from memory for me still right now, plus I'm fighting a little bit of an illness, so I haven't been posting as much, sorry. Hopefully this will help. If you have any questions, let me know, and enjoy.